Ever feel like you're stuck in a never-ending teamfight while your enemies slowly pull ahead? What if I tell you there's a way to outsmart them, take objectives, and carry your team without ever engaging in a 6v6? Welcome to the art of split pushing. And if you're in the art of looking for a nice and tasty snack, make sure to click the link in my description about Control. It's a healthy alternative to snacks you may want to have. But hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most strategic and exciting playstyles in MOBAs, split pushing. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to become the thorn in your enemy's side and win games your way. So, well, what is split pushing? Split pushing is the act of focusing on side lanes to pressure objectives like towers or inhibitors or guardians, whatever you want to call them in the game of Deadlock, while the rest of your team draws attention elsewhere. Well, instead of fighting with your team, you're splitting your efforts, hence the name. You have 3 key goals when split pushing: applying map pressure, force enemies to make tough decisions, and secure objectives to snowball your lead. This isn't just by farming minions. If done correctly, split pushing can easily turn the tide of any game. And why does split pushing work? Split pushing works because MOBAs are all about decision making, and in Deadlock it's more prevalent than others. When you force enemies to respond to your push, you create opportunities for your team, whether it's to take other objectives or set up some type of gank. Whether it's just having some type of pressure on the map, it causes a ton of chaos for the other team. Now, split pushing creates pressure on multiple fronts, mistakes in enemy positioning, and a win condition outside of team fights. But remember, it's not just about running down a lane solo. It requires strategy, timing, and the right tools. Now, not every moment is the right time to split push, so let's break it down. The best times to split push is when the enemy team is distracted. Are all of them grouped up for a team fight or an objective? Great, that's your moment. And you typically want to be split pushing where you think a team fight is going to be happening, especially when you have some type of movement item, whether that be enduring speed, extra stamina, or even kinetic dash. These items lets you join a fight or escape if need be. Now, another key point to know if you can split push is when you're ahead. If you're stronger than any single opponent, you can probably win a 1v1 and keep pushing, because you have to think, the more the enemy team has to allocate resources to deal with you, you open up a ton of opportunities for the rest of your team to either push objectives or just do something around the map to be more impactful. But before all that, you should always assess the map. Are your teammates in a relatively safe position? Do you know where enemies are going to be coming from? Because you getting caught off guard can ruin your push and give the enemies an advantage. Now let's talk about how to pull off the perfect split push. Here's a couple steps, the first one being wave management. You need to learn how to manipulate the troopers, the minions, whatever you want to call them in Deadlock. You need to push just enough to pressure towers without overextending and getting caught. The second tip is vision. You need to know where your enemies are located. Although there's not wards in Deadlock, you eventually have to start understanding how the map and where enemy movements are going to be at. You have to judge from where your teammates are on the map and where the enemies are at the same time. And that skill or tip becomes a lot easier as the more time you put into the game. Now, another big thing is knowing your matchup. Can you duel the enemy trying to stop you? If not, you'll need to outmaneuver or outbrain them instead. And the last tip is pretty self-explanatory. You need to communicate with your team. Let your team know your plan. They should push objectives elsewhere while you pull enemies towards you. Now, not every hero is built for split pushing. Here are a few traits to look for the ideal split pusher. So first and foremost, do they have some type of high mobility or escape tools? Do they have strong 1v1 potential? And do they have fast tower damage or wave clear? For example, in the case of Deadlock, a character like McGinnis can actually be very strong in dealing with split pushing. She has an AoE heal that she can heal herself, her minions, and her turrets. She has turrets to help with wave clear and pushing the tower, and she has a wall for an escape or some type of engage. She also has a long range ultimate that can easily get rid of the enemy wave. All of these traits make her very good at split pushing. Now, you could argue that there's other characters better. Well, yes, there are, but just for an easy example, I'm using McGinnis. Now, split pushing is powerful, but it's not foolproof. You probably want to avoid these common mistakes. The first one is rather simple, and it's overextending. In the case of split pushing, you don't want to be overly greedy. Make a plan with yourself of what you want to accomplish. Once you accomplish that said goal, like taking down a turret or doing something in another lane, that's when you want to go back. As the saying goes, greed kills. You being overly greedy can honestly be your downfall. Now, another thing you have to understand is you need to know not to ignore your teammates' needs. Split pushing isn't an excuse to AFK farm. Most of the time people say they're gonna split push and just end up just farming. Now yes, farming can get your character stronger, but ultimately you're not doing really anything for the team. Following that, another mistake to avoid is choosing bad timings. You have to think, if your team is engaging, they might need you. If you're going for a team fight and they say they need everybody and you say you're split pushing, then you're really not helping the team. Even if you think split pushing is the better option in this scenario. Fighting a 6v6 versus a 5v6 is always the better option. Now remember, split pushing is about playing smart, not reckless. And that's the basics of split pushing, whether you're looking to outsmart the enemy or just farm in peace. Mastering this strategy can be your ticket to victory. And if you found this guide helpful, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it greatly helps me out. And drop a comment down below of what video you would like to see next. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.